Okay, so in this video we're going to actually look at how you find the expected price of a stock with a constant rate of growth in the dividend a few years from now. So let's take a look at our problem. So in this case, the stock paid a dividend of $3 per share yesterday. We are to assume that the dividend is expected to grow at a rate of 6% per year for the foreseeable future. And if the rate of return required by shareholders is 9%, what is the expected price of the stock 5 years from now? So first, let's draw out a timeline so that we can better see what we're doing. So in this case, we're asked to find the value of the stock 5 years from now. So in other words, we want to find the value of the stock right here. Okay? So if that's the value of the stock that we're asked to find, we're back here though, and in fact we're at time 0, but we're told that they paid a dividend of $3 yesterday. So that's basically yesterday, pretty much time 0, but we aren't going to get the dividend if we bought that stock today because it was paid yesterday. And what we're looking for is what is the value of the stock 5 years from now. So to figure this out, what we would need to do if we evaluate the situation is we realize that this stock is a constant growth stock. And we understand that because it says that we are to assume that the dividend is expected to grow at a rate of 6% per year for the foreseeable future. So if it's 6% per year forever, then this is a constant growth stock. Now to find the value of a constant growth stock, the expected value today of a constant growth stock is D1 over Ks minus G. So in that particular scenario, if I wanted to find the value of the stock here, times 0, I would need to find the dividend 1 year into the future, divide by Ks minus G, and we'd be done. And if you've been following along with the videos, then you would recognize how to do that, and we've already done an example along that line. However, this is asking for what the expected price of the stock would be 5 years from now, so that means right here. Well, if I wanted to find the value of the stock right here, what I would need to do is the expected value in year 5 would be P5. That would be equal to D6 over Ks minus G. D6 is the dividend we need because that is one dividend in a year into the future from where I'd be trying to find the value of the stock. Just like over here, if I was finding the value of the stock at time 0, I needed the dividend 1 year into the future for that formula as well. So if I want the value of the stock at the end of year 5, I need the dividend at the end of year 6 for the numerator. Ks minus G is still the same kind of thing that we had before. So if we look at our problem, Ks is our required rate of return, which is specified as being 9%. So Ks is equal to 9%, so we have that. That's no problem. And G is specified to be 6% because the dividend is growing at a rate of 6% per year. So G is equal to 6%. So I know Ks and I know G. The only question then is, what's D6 and how do I find it? Well, if we think about what we have going on here, we know that we had $3 here yesterday, and I need to grow that out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 periods. So to get from here to here, time 0 to period 1, what we would do is D1 would be equal to D0 times 1 plus G. So I would take the $3 times 1 plus the growth rate to get to D1. Well, D2 would be equal to D1 times 1 plus G. And notice that D1 is equal to D0 times 1 plus G. So if I substitute, I would have this. So in other words, I would just take D0 times 1 plus G squared, and that would give me D2. So to find D6, this would mean I would just take D0 times 1 plus G raised to the 6th. And in that case, D0 is $3. And our growth rate is 6%, so 0.06. And then raised to the 6th. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, wait a minute, that kind of looks like future value. Well, in that case, you're absolutely right. It is. What we've done here is we've taken a present value of $3 and a growth rate and a number of periods to find the future value over here of D6. So we're absolutely doing present value here, or sorry, future value. And at this point, I recommend that you pause the video to work out that D6, which is that future value, and to see what kind of number you get. Okay, so if you work that out, what you should have gotten was the value of $3 times 1.418519, which then works out to 4.2556. So that would be the value of our dividend at the end of year 6, and I'm hanging on to a couple extra decimal places just so I'll round off at the end. So now I'll substitute that into this formula here. So my expected price at the end of year 5 will be equal to D6, which is 4.2556, divided by KS, which is 9%, so I'll put that in decimal form, so 0.09, minus G, which is 6%, which I'll put that in decimal form. And at this point, I recommend that you pause the video to work that out and to see what you get. Okay, so if you work that out, what you should have gotten was that you would expect the price at the end of year 5 to be equal to $141.85. So the expected price of the stock at the end of year 5 is $141.85, which brings up some interesting points. Significantly, notice that when I had the stock that's growing at a growth rate of 6% per year for the foreseeable future, so a constant rate of growth, I could actually predict what the stock price ought to be to the extent that this model holds true. So I actually can find what the price should be at any particular point in time in the future, not just today. Obviously, however, we are still making assumptions. We're making assumptions that this growth rate is going to hold constant over this full period and then also for there on out. And we're also assuming that this required rate of return remains constant and that it is accurate as well. Those assumptions could potentially be in error, but if to the extent that they are true, we would expect that this stock would sell for $141.85 at the end of year 5. And that is how you can find the value of a constant growth stock a number of years into the future. I recommend that you consider trying a few other examples to see how you do.